Dianne Goldman Berman Feinstein, born Dianne Emiel Goldman, is the senior United States Senator from California. A member of the Democratic Party, she has served in the Senate since 1992. She also served as 38th Mayor of San Francisco from 1978 to 1988. Born in San Francisco, Feinstein graduated from Stanford University. In the 1960s she worked in city government, and in 1970 she was elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She served as the board's first female president in 1978, during which time the assassinations of Mayor George Moscone and City Supervisor Harvey drew national attention to the city. Feinstein succeeded Moscone as mayor. During her tenure as San Francisco's first female mayor, she led a revamp of the city's cable car system and oversaw the 1984 Democratic National Convention. After a failed gubernatorial campaign in 1990, she won a 1992 special election to the U.S. Senate. Feinstein was first elected on the same ballot as her peer Barbara Boxer, and the two became California's first female U.S. senators. Feinstein has been re-elected 4 times since then, and in the 2012 election, she claimed the record for the most popular votes in any U.S. Senate election in history, having received 7.75 million votes. Feinstein was the author of the 1994 federal assault weapons ban, which expired in 2004. In 2013 she introduced a new assault weapons bill, which failed to pass. Feinstein formerly chaired the Senate Rules Committee and has chaired the Select Committee on Intelligence since 2009. She is also the only woman to have presided over a U.S. presidential inauguration. At the age of 81, Feinstein is the oldest currently serving United States Senator. Early life: Feinstein was born Dianne Emiel Goldman in San Francisco, to Betty, a former model, and Leon Goldman, a surgeon. Feinstein's paternal grandparents were Jewish immigrants from Poland, while her maternal grandparents, who were of the Russian Orthodox faith, were from St. Petersburg, Russia. Her mother also had either German or Jewish ancestry. Personal life: Feinstein graduated from Convent of the Sacred Heart High School in 1951 and from Stanford University in 1955 with a B.A. in history. In 1956, she married Jack Berman, a colleague in the San Francisco District Attorney's Office. Feinstein and Berman divorced 3 years later. Their daughter, Catherine Feinstein Mariano, has been the presiding judge of the San Francisco Superior Court for 12 years, through 2012. In 1962, shortly after beginning her career in politics, Feinstein married neurosurgeon Bertram Feinstein. Her second husband died of colon cancer in 1978. In 1980, Feinstein married Richard C. Bloom, an investment banker. In 2003, Feinstein was ranked the 5th wealthiest senator, with an estimated net worth of $26 million. By 2005 her net worth had increased to between $43 million and $99 million. Her 347-page financial disclosure statement characterized by the San Francisco Chronicle as nearly the size of a phone book draws clear lines between her assets and those of her husband, with many of her assets in blind trusts. Early political career: in 1961, Feinstein worked to end housing discrimination in San Francisco. Prior to elected service, she was appointed by then-California Governor Pat Brown to serve as a member of the California Women's Parole Board. Feinstein also served as a fellow at the Coro Foundation in San Francisco. President of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors: in 1969, Feinstein was elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She remained on the board for 9 years. During her tenure on the Board of Supervisors, she unsuccessfully ran for mayor of San Francisco twice, in 1971 against Mayor Joseph Alioto, and in 1975, when she lost the contest for a runoff slot by 1 percentage point, to Supervisor John Barbagelata. Because of her position, Feinstein became a target of the New World Liberation Front, which placed a bomb on her windowsill that failed to explode, and which later shot out the windows of a beach house she owned. She was elected president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in 1978 with initial opposition from Quentin Kopp. On November 27, 1978, San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk were assassinated by a rival politician, Dan White, who had resigned from the Board of Supervisors only 2 weeks prior. Feinstein was close by in City Hall at the time of the shootings, and discovered Milk's body after hearing the gunshots and going to investigate. Later that day at a press conference originally organized by Moscone to announce White's successor, Feinstein announced the assassinations to the stunned public, stating, "As president of the Board of Supervisors, it's my duty to make this announcement. Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed." Feinstein appears in archival footage and is credited in the Academy Award-winning documentary film The Times of Harvey Milk. She appears again briefly in archival footage, announcing the death of Moscone and Milk in the 2008 film Milk. Feinstein and her position as president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors are also alluded to several times in the movie, and a portrayal of her character has a few off-screen lines. As president of the Board of Supervisors upon the death of Mayor Moscone, Feinstein succeeded to the mayoralty on December 4, 1978. Mayor of San Francisco. Feinstein served out the remainder of Moscone's term. She made no staffing changes to his team until she was elected in her own right in 1979. She was re-elected in 1983 and served a full second term. One of the first challenges to face Feinstein as mayor was the state of the San Francisco cable car system. In late 1979, the system had to be shut down for emergency repairs, and an engineering evaluation concluded that it needed comprehensive rebuilding at a cost of $60 million. Feinstein took charge of the effort, and helped win federal funding for the bulk of the rebuilding job. The system closed for rebuilding in 1982 and reopened in 1984 in time for the Democratic National Convention that was held in the city that year. Feinstein also oversaw planning policies to increase the number of high-rise buildings in San Francisco. Perhaps because of her statewide ambitions, Feinstein was seen as a relatively moderate Democrat in one of the country's most liberal cities. As a supervisor, she was considered part of the centrist bloc that included Dan White and was generally opposed to Moscone. As mayor, Feinstein angered the city's large gay community by refusing to march in a gay rights parade and by vetoing domestic partner legislation in 1983. In the 1980 presidential election, while a majority of Bay Area Democrats continued to support Senator Ted Kennedy's primary challenge to President Jimmy Carter even after it was clear Kennedy could not win, Feinstein was a strong supporter of the Carter-Mondale ticket. She was given a high-profile speaking role on the opening night of the August Democratic National Convention, urging delegates to reject the Kennedy delegates' proposal to open the convention, thereby allowing delegates to ignore their state's popular vote, a proposal that was soundly defeated. In the run-up to the 1984 Democratic National Convention, there was considerable media and public speculation that Democratic presidential nominee Walter Mondale might pick Feinstein as his running mate. However, he chose Geraldine Ferraro instead. Also in 1984, Feinstein proposed banning handguns in San Francisco, and became subject to a recall attempt organized by the White Panther Party. She won the recall election and finished her second term as mayor on January 8, 1988. In 1985, at a press conference, Feinstein revealed details about the hunt for serial killer Richard Ramirez, and in so doing angered detectives by giving away details of his crimes. In 1987, City and State magazine named Feinstein the nation's most effective mayor. Feinstein served on the Trilateral Commission during the 1980s while mayor of San Francisco. Gubernatorial election. In 1990, Feinstein made an unsuccessful bid for governor of California. Although she won the Democratic Party's nomination for the office, she then lost in the general election to Republican Senator Pete Wilson, who vacated his seat in the Senate to assume the governorship. In 1992, she was fined $190,000 for failure to properly report campaign contributions and expenditures associated with that campaign. U.S. Senate career, elections. On November 3, 1992, Feinstein won a special election to fill the Senate seat vacated a year earlier when Senator Pete Wilson resigned to become governor. The election was held at the same time as the general election for U.S. President and other offices. Barbara Boxer was elected at the same time for the Senate seat to be vacated by Alan Cranston. Because Feinstein was elected to an unexpired term, she became a senator as soon as the election was certified in November, while Boxer would not take office until the expiration of Cranston's term in January. Thus Feinstein became California's senior senator, even though she was elected at the same time as Boxer and Boxer had previous congressional service. Feinstein was re-elected in 1994, 2000, 2006, and 2012. In 2012, Feinstein claimed the record for the most popular votes in any U.S. Senate election in history, having received 7.75 million votes. The record was previously held by her California colleague Barbara Boxer, who received 6.96 million votes in her 2004 re-election. Approval ratings, committees, Committee on Appropriations, Subcommittee on Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration, and Related Agencies, Subcommittee on Commerce, Justice, Science, and Related Agencies, Subcommittee on Defense, Subcommittee on Energy and Water Development, Subcommittee on Interior, Environment, and Related Agencies, Subcommittee on Transportation, Housing and Urban Development, and Related Agencies. Committee on the Judiciary, Subcommittee on Crime and Terrorism, Subcommittee on Immigration, Border Security, and Refugees, Subcommittee on Privacy, Technology and the Law. Committee on Rules and Administration, Select Committee on Intelligence, Political Positions and Votes. Feinstein voted for the extension of the Patriot Act and the FISA provisions. Feinstein was criticized in 2009 when she introduced a bill directing $25 billion to the FDIC the day after the agency awarded her husband's company a contract to sell foreclosed properties at compensation rates higher than the industry norms. Feinstein and her husband have been tied to questionable dealings between the world's largest commercial real estate firm and the U.S. Postal Service. Feinstein has also been accused of abusing her position to award her husband a unregistered trademark companies billions of dollars in military contracts. Feinstein co-sponsored an amendment through the Senate to the Economic Development Revitalization Act of 2011 that eliminated the volumetric ethanol excise tax credit. The Senate passed the amendment on June 16, 2011. Introduced in 2004, the subsidy provided a 45-cent per gallon credit on pure ethanol and a 54-cent per gallon tariff on imported ethanol. These subsidies had resulted in an annual expenditure of $6 billion. On May 12, 2011, Feinstein co-sponsored PIPA. In January 2012, Feinstein met with representatives of technology companies, including Google and Facebook. According to a spokesperson, Feinstein is doing all she can to ensure that the bill is balanced and protects the intellectual property concerns of the content community without unfairly burdening legitimate businesses such as Internet search engines. Assault weapons ban. Feinstein introduced the federal assault weapons ban, which became law in 1994 and expired in 2004. In January 2013, about 1 month after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, Feinstein, along with Representative Carolyn McCarthy from New York, proposed a bill that would ban the sale, transfer, manufacturing or importation of 150 specific firearms including semi-automatic rifles or pistols that can be used with a detachable or fixed ammunition magazines that hold more than 10 rounds and have specific military-style features, including pistol grips, grenade launchers or rocket launchers. The bill would have exempted 900 models of guns used for sport and hunting. Feinstein commented on the bill, saying, "The common thread in each of these shootings is the gunman used a semi-automatic assault weapon or large-capacity ammunition magazines. Military assault weapons only have one purpose and in my opinion, it's for the military." The bill failed on a Senate vote of 60 to 40. NSA surveillance programs. After the 2013 mass surveillance disclosures involving the National Security Agency, Feinstein took measures to continue the collection programs. Foreign Policy wrote that she had a reputation as a staunch defender of NSA practices and the White House's refusal to stand by election activities targeting foreign leaders. In October 2013 she criticized the NSA for monitoring telephone calls of foreign leaders friendly to the U.S. In November 2013 she promoted the FISA Improvements Act bill, which included a backdoor search provision that allows intelligence agencies to continue certain warrantless searches as long as they are logged and available for review to various agencies. In June 2013 Feinstein labeled Edward Snowden a traitor after his leaks went public. In October of that year she stated that she stood by those comments. Democrats praised her for pushing the CIA on possible violations of federal law. 2008 presidential politics. As a superdelegate, Feinstein had declared that she would support Hillary Clinton for the Democratic presidential nomination. However, once Barack Obama became the presumptive nominee for the party, she fully backed his candidacy. Days after Obama amassed enough delegates to win the Democratic Party nomination, Feinstein lent her Washington, D.C., home to both Clinton and Obama, to have a private one-on-one meeting. Feinstein did not attend the 2008 Democratic National Convention in Denver because she had fallen and broken her ankle earlier in the month. She chaired the United States Congress Joint Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, and acted as mistress of ceremonies, introducing each participant at the 2009 presidential inauguration. Awards and honors. Feinstein was presented with the Woodrow Wilson Award for Public Service by the Woodrow Wilson Center of the Smithsonian Institution on November 3, 2001, in Los Angeles. In 2002 Feinstein won the American Medical Association's Nathan Davis Award for the betterment of the public health. Offices held, electoral history, see also. Feinstein A.K. Mag, California Government and Politics, Rosalind Wiener Wyman, co-chair of Feinstein Political Campaigns. Notes. References: Roberts, Jerry. Dianne Feinstein, Never Let Them See You Cry, HarperCollins. ISBN 0-06-258508-8, Talbot, David. Season of the Witch, Enchantment, Terror and Deliverance in the City of Love, New York, Simon & Schuster. 480p. ISBN 978-1-4391-0821-5. Weiss, Mike. Double Play, The Hidden Passions Behind the Double Assassination of George Moscone and Harvey Milk, Vince Emery Productions. ISBN 978-0-9825650-5-6. Further reading, biography at Jewish Women Encyclopedia, external links, Senator Dianne Feinstein. Official U.S. Senate site, Dianne Feinstein for Congress, Dianne Feinstein at DMOZ, biography at the Biographical Directory of the United States Congress, profile at Project Vote Smart, financial information at the Federal Election Commission, legislation sponsored at the Library of Congress, statements, op-ed archives at Project Syndicate, Dianne Feinstein's opening remarks at the 2009 presidential inauguration at AmericanRhetoric.com, video, audio and text.